Hello and welcome to the Mando Bros. Today we will be going through the first issue of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge miniseries based on the themed land opening at Disneyland on May 31st and coming to Walt Disney World on August 29th. I will also be pointing out Easter eggs in each issue and make some connections to the wider Star Wars canon. Now bear in mind I may miss some things here and there, so if I do, please point them out in the comment section down below. Alright, let's go ahead and go through the first issue of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Spoilers ahead. We open up on Black Spire Outpost. We see the character Remix wandering the marketplace of Black Spire. Remix is a Clawdite, an alien species with the ability to change its appearance, also known as a changeling. Zam Wessel from Attack of the Clones is also a Clawdite. Remix is then offered Ronto Wraps by an 88 droid. An 88 droid was previously seen in Return of the Jedi, inside Jabba's palace torturing another droid. Ronto Wraps will be a real food that you can enjoy when you visit Galaxy's Edge yourself. It is served at Ronto's Roasters, which sits at the centerpiece of the Black Spire Outpost market. The food is cooked under a pod racer engine, which can be seen here. Remix turns down the Ronto Wraps and instead asks for a Melu Run juice. Melu Run is a fruit first introduced in a Legends novel, X-Wing Wedge's Gamble, and is seen prominently on a few episodes of Star Wars Rebels, a favorite of Harrison Dula from the show. Melu Run juice is a juice you can taste yourself when you visit Galaxy's Edge. A small child tries to thieve some Ronto Wraps for himself until Remix grabs the kid's arm and roasts him on his weak thieving attempt. The First Order then arrives to the outpost in a TIE Echelon, a new TIE variant created for Galaxy's Edge. Piloted by Lieutenant Agnon and his Red Fury stormtroopers, they come to Batuu in search of resistance scum hiding on the planet. Remix catches note of the sudden arrival of the First Order and quickly shapeshifts and blends in with the Batuuan crowd. He meets up with his smuggler crew led by a character named Kendo. They then meet up with Doc Ondar inside his shop, Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, which will be a real place you can visit at Galaxy's Edge where you'll be able to purchase various items and trinkets from the Star Wars galaxy that Doc Ondar has acquired through the years. In this panel, we see an Imperial Royal Guard helmet hanging on the wall next to another object I wasn't able to identify, and various Star Wars blasters on the wall. The other character in Kendo's crew, Wuro, notices a tank which is housing a baby Sarlacc, which of course is the same species seen on Tatooine in Return of the Jedi. Kendo then becomes curious on how Doc Ondar acquired the Sarlacc, which then leads him to tell a story of how a smuggler he hired was able to acquire the species. We then see the Millennium Falcon heading to Ivorcia Prime Preserve. I don't know if I said that right. In the Outer Rim, some unknown time in the past. We see Han Solo and Chewbacca in the cockpit discussing their job that Doc Ondar hired them for. Chewbacca expresses to Han that this is a bad idea. However, Han reassures him that Doc Ondar is paying a lot of credits for this bad idea, and also is just a baby. How bad could it be? They approach the planet's surface and encounter two characters, one named Uris and the other an alien species first introduced in The Force Awakens known as a Dawutin. I don't know if I said that right. Uris welcomes Han to the planet and mentions it's an honor to see the ship that made the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs. Han then corrects him by saying 12 parsecs, which is a nice callback to The Force Awakens when Rey has the exact same interaction with Han in that film.
This is a ship that made the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs.
12!
Uris brings Han and Chewie to the Sarlacc farm featuring 2 infant and 2 adolescent Sarlaccs. As Han is commenting about the Sarlaccs, Uris pushes Han down into the pit and 2 Duatins stun Chewbacca. Uris says it's nothing personal, he just needs to take the Falcon and get off-world with the Sarlacc spores to make him very rich. As he's explaining, Han shoots up at them, causing one of the Duatin to fall into the pit with Han. Han then noticed something crawling towards them under the sand. Han then says, "What in the pits of Lotho Minor is that?" Lotho Minor was the junk planet that Darth Maul escapes to and lived on for a few years after being cut in half on Naboo in The Phantom Menace. The planet is seen in the Clone Wars when Savage Opress travels there to find Maul. Suddenly, from under the sand, a baby Sarlacc attacks the Dowitan. To my knowledge, this is the first time we see what a baby Sarlacc is capable of. Instead of planted into the ground like the older Sarlaccs, infant Sarlaccs are able to travel around quickly and appear to need to hunt its prey on its own. This panel reminds me a lot of Alien, with the Sarlacc being very reminiscent of a facehugger. Han looks on in horror and is amazed to learn that the Sarlacc is able to move around. Urus explains that the Sarlaccs don't root themselves until they are older and much bigger. Urus makes off to the Falcon while the other Dowitan are still attempting to take down Chewbacca with the stun staff. Meanwhile, Han is left to himself in the pit to fight off two baby Sarlaccs. Chewbacca eventually did break free from the constant stuns and took down the Dowitan and got to the Falcon before Urus took off with it. Meanwhile, the two baby Sarlaccs were about to pounce on Han. He was able to get one of them to sacrifice itself for the Soul Stone.
I'm sorry, little one.
And when the remaining Sarlacc was getting ready to pounce, Chewie comes in to save Han with Urus hanging from the bottom of the Falcon. Han and Chewie make it to Batuu with the baby Sarlacc locked in a tank and sell it to Dok-Ondar. We then come back to the present time as Dok-Ondar wraps up telling the story of how he acquired that Sarlacc to Kendo and her crew. She then explains that she is interested in something a little more rare to acquire. Kendo then shows Dok-Ondar what she means on a holopad, and whatever Dok-Ondar saw apparently gave him some PTSD, and he kicked Kendo and her whole crew out of his shop, but not before Remix plants some sort of recording device in his shop. And whatever was shown on that datapad cannot end up in the wrong hands. And that about wraps up the first issue of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Not too many huge connections or Easter eggs, but it is a great first issue for this 5-issue miniseries. And I do plan to cover each comic issue with the same way I did here. So please, let me know what you think down in the comments, and please point out any Easter eggs I may have missed. And if we deserve it, give the Mando Bros a like and subscribe. And also, I do have my own theme park YouTube channel called The Theme Park Dude, so go ahead and subscribe there if you want to see more from Galaxy's Edge. I already made a couple Galaxy's Edge related videos, and there's a lot more coming soon, so go ahead and check out my theme park channel for that. And as always guys, may the Force be with you until the Spire.